Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I am Joshua Barnes, live from the Firstpost studios. Let's begin with the top headlines. US President Donald Trump claims that Russia, China and other nations are secretly conducting underground nuclear tests and says the United States will restart testing as well. South Korea says its push for nuclear-powered submarines is not aimed at fueling an arms race, as Seoul insists the move is necessary to counter North Korea's submarine program. Thailand and Cambodia begin withdrawing heavy weapons and start demining along their disputed border, as both sides ease tensions after a US-backed ceasefire following deadly clashes earlier this year. Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan is sworn in as president for a new term after claiming 98% of the vote, as the opposition alleges hundreds were killed in a post-election crackdown. And China plans to extend its visa-free policies for countries including France until December the 31st of 2026. It also plans to widen the scheme to include Sweden to the list in a bid to boost post-pandemic tourism and attract more foreign visitors. We begin with the latest from the United States. Days after meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea, President Donald Trump sent a clear warning to Beijing. Trump said that China understands the consequences if it attempts to invade Taiwan. The president, however, did not spell out what those consequences might be. Trump said China would not attempt any military move on Taiwan, at least not while he's president.
He has openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president, because they know the consequences.
The US president made these comments days after the high-stakes US-China talks in South Korea, presided over by Trump and Xi themselves. The two sides discussed trade and regional security issues. They even agreed to a rare earths trade deal. But Taiwan did not come up in their talks. In his recent interview, Trump again confirmed that Xi never mentioned Taiwan during their meeting. When asked whether the US would deploy troops if China invaded Taiwan, Trump did not specify a plan of action. His response, and I quote, "We'll find out if it happens." Trump's latest warning underscores the high-stakes nature of Taiwan's status as one of the most sensitive flashpoints in US-China relations. China claims Taiwan as its own territory and has not ruled out using force to bring the self-governed island under its control. The US, while maintaining formal ties with Beijing, is also bound by the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act. Under this, Washington is committed to provide Taiwan with arms to ensure its defense. The US is Taiwan's key supplier of weapons for its defense. These weapons regularly feature in the island's annual defense drills, aimed to prepare its people against a possible Chinese attack. And China has called upon the US to stop selling these weapons to Taiwan.
China firmly opposes the US selling weapons to the Taiwan region of China and urges the US to abide by the One China principle and the 3 Sino-US communiques, especially the August 17th communique, to stop selling weapons to Taiwan and stop creating tensions in the Taiwan Strait. China is determined to defend its national sovereignty and territorial integrity.
捍卫国家主权和领土完整的决心坚定不移。
In this backdrop, Trump's warning to China over Taiwan comes at a delicate moment. The US and China have only recently eased trade tensions. Apart from Taiwan, the strategic mistrust between the world's two biggest economies remains high on a number of matters, from the South China Sea dispute to advanced technology and global supply chains. Trump's remarks add a new layer to the prevailing US-China dynamic over Taiwan. The status of this self-ruled island remains a critical point of contention. Staying in the United States, a new video from the Department of Labor accuses companies of abusing the H-1B visa program, which lets high-skilled foreign nationals temporarily work in the United States. The Trump administration says the program hurts American workers and takes away what it calls the American dream. The video notes that 72% of H-1B holders are Indians and 12% are from China. It blames politicians and bureaucrats for allowing widespread misuse of H-1B systems. The video takes a nostalgic tone, showing happy families in the 1950s, contrasted with modern images to suggest young Americans have lost jobs to foreign workers. It claims the Trump administration is recapturing the American dream for US citizens. The video also promotes Project Firewall, an initiative launched in September to enforce H-1B rules. The project aims to protect American workers by ensuring companies hire locals first. Employers found violating H-1B rules could face repayment of wages to affected US workers. They could face civil penalties and a temporary ban from the program. The push comes amid broader changes to the H-1B program under President Donald Trump. He announced a $100,000 fee for new H-1B petitions from outside of the US, calling it a step to reduce reliance on foreign workers. Employers will now pay this extra fee when applying to hire skilled talent. The Trump administration is facing lawsuits against the $100,000 H-1B fee, but the White House maintains it will fight these legal challenges going forward.
The administration will fight these lawsuits in court. The president's main priority has always been to put American workers first and also to strengthen our visa system. We know for far too long the H-1B visa system has been spammed with fraud, basically, and that's driven down American wages. So the president wants to refine this system, which is part of the reason he implemented these new policies. These actions are lawful, they are necessary, and we'll continue to fight this battle in court.
Just last week in Florida, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis ordered state universities to stop using H-1B visas and prioritize Americans for academic jobs. This new video and policy moves signal a sharper stance on H-1B visas under the Trump administration. With higher fees, stricter enforcement and state-level action, the focus is now on tighter compliance and greater priority for American workers. We now move to Afghanistan. A powerful 6.3 magnitude earthquake has struck northern Afghanistan overnight, killing at least 20 people. The quake has injured more than 300 people as per the country's health ministry. According to the US Geological Survey, the quake hit a depth of 28 kilometers with its epicenter near Mazar-e-Sharif. It's one of Afghanistan's largest cities. A health ministry spokesman said the casualties were reported mainly in two provinces. He warned that the numbers could rise as rescue operations continue. In Mazar-e-Sharif, one of the largest cities in Afghanistan, frightened residents rushed into the streets as tremors shook the city. The city's iconic Blue Mosque, a 15th century landmark famed for its turquoise tiles, suffered visible damage, including fallen pieces from one of its minarets. Tremors were also felt as far away as Kabul, which is 420 kilometers to the south. Rescue efforts are underway, with Afghan Red Crescent workers seen pulling survivors from rubble and providing first aid. Poor communication and mountainous terrain, however, continue to hinder relief efforts in remote villages. The disaster adds to a growing list of deadly earthquakes that have struck Afghanistan in recent years. Since the Taliban took over in 2021, the country has endured at least 3 major quakes, including in August of 2025, a tremor in the east that killed more than 2,000 people and destroyed entire mountainside villages. In 2023, a series of quakes near Herat, close to the Iranian border, left hundreds dead, while a 2022 quake in Nangarhar province caused widespread devastation. Experts say Afghanistan's geography makes it particularly prone to earthquakes. The country lies along the Hindu Kush mountain range, where the Eurasian and Indian tectonic plates collide, creating frequent and sometimes catastrophic tremors. Most homes in rural areas are built from mud and non-reinforced materials, leaving residents especially vulnerable when quakes strike. Reaching such villages can take hours or even days, with steep, damaged roads and rough terrain cutting off access to aid. The latest tragedy comes as Afghanistan grapples with a worsening humanitarian crisis, marked by drought, hunger, and the return of refugees from Iran and Pakistan. International aid, once a lifeline, has sharply declined amid global isolation and financial sanctions on the Taliban government. As aftershocks continue to rattle the region, officials fear the death toll could climb in the coming days. And let's now shift focus to India. Delhi saw marginal relief from toxic smog on Monday. Air quality, which slipped into the severe category on Sunday, slightly improved to very poor today. But the air remains hazardous and unsafe to breathe. Experts warned that weather conditions and pollution sources could push levels back up again this week. Delhi recorded an average AQI of around 366 on Sunday, placing the city in the severe zone. By Monday morning, the AQI eased to around 316, moving to very poor. Officials said this was only a small improvement, with several NCR areas continuing to record unhealthy air.
Pretty bad, so I came up from Agra via bus, and the further I got to Delhi, like the thicker the smog was. Definitely could tell the difference. Closer I got to Delhi, it was just getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where I could barely even see the sun anymore.
Pollution rose due to a mix of factors: vehicle emissions, industrial smoke, construction dust and crop residue burning. Slow winds and low temperatures trapped pollution close to the ground, preventing dispersion. Over 500 stubble burning cases were reported in Punjab on Saturday as harvest activity picked up. PM 2.5 levels in Delhi also touched around 168 micrograms. PM 2.5 are fine particles that enter the lungs and bloodstream, damaging heart and lung function. Experts compared breathing Delhi's air to smoking nearly 8 cigarettes a day. Indian opposition leader Priyanka Gandhi urged the centre and Delhi government to act together, saying citizens suffer year after year. She said returning to Delhi's air after visiting Kerala and Bihar felt truly shocking, describing the pollution as a grey shroud over the city. The BJP responded that she raised the issue only now, accusing past Congress and AAP governments of failing to address pollution when they were in power. In Delhi NCR, doctors reported a sharp rise in breathing issues and chest infections over the past week. A leading pulmonologist advised general vulnerable groups to temporarily leave the city if possible due to high health risks. Media reports and specialists also noted concerns that long-term pollution exposure may be linked to autoimmune issues like rheumatoid arthritis in some cases. As part of pollution control efforts, authorities have enforced restrictions on older commercial vehicles entering the capital. Despite slight improvement today, experts warn Delhi may return to severe air quality this week. Residents were advised to wear masks, avoid outdoor exercise, and use air purifiers as the capital continued to battle dangerous pollution levels. Well, that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thank you for watching.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines. Detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT. Only on Firstpost.
Hello and welcome to First Post Live, where we bring you the day's